Hey y'all, it's Dr. Court with another episode of The Rewrite, where we are rewriting our ever after unapologetically. Little gentle warning for today, we will be talking about suicide in today's episode. So please proceed with care and caution and exit the episode if need be. I am so tickled to introduce my guest today. He's an author and screenwriter. His debut novel, The Endless Fall, which I hear has an upcoming movie adaptation. Welcome, Peter. Happy to have you.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I am honored that you are willing to take time out of your day to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me.
Sure thing. So tell us more about this book and the movie adaptation. I'm curious.
All right. Well, the book came about when I was on a balcony and I was trying to commit suicide. I was ready to just be done with life. I felt like my kids would probably be better without me. You know how that is, the hardcore depression. It just kind of sort of takes over your life and makes you feel worthless and not valuable. Even though I was, I just, I never felt like it. And I didn't have any, I was a musician for years and I gave that up to have a family. And I just kind of sort of was downtrodden, I guess is the way to put it. So either way, I was on the balcony and I went to pick up my godsons who had just graduated from the Marines. And we were in a really nice hotel and everybody was, loving life and living it up. And I couldn't get out of the, it would be better if I wasn't here kind of thing. And it just was crippling. So when they went to bed, I went out on the balcony and, I said, this is it. I can't take it anymore. Maybe I could make it look like an accident or something, I mean, just like the horrible, dark thoughts, and so I went over the ledge and, right before I jumped, I screamed out to God and, I told him that he needs to fix it. He needs to show me something. And I said things to him I wish now that I didn't say because for my whole life, I didn't believe in Jesus. I was very much against God. And, I didn't think that it was real. I didn't think that any of that stuff could be real. It was very far fetched to me. I'm a more of a logical person, so I keep myself in that realm, or at least I did. Um, and I'm still a very logical person, but as I was out there on that balcony, and I was calling out to him, and I, swearing at him, like back when I used to swear. I don't know what that's like anymore because I don't swear. It's not part of my vocabulary anymore. But so either way, I was out there, I was yelling at him, and I felt this change. Uh, it's hard to explain, but I felt a shift in my heart. I felt something kind of just take my heart and turn it. And I felt all the depression and stuff just kind of leave my body in an instant. And I climbed back over the railing. I profusely cried for hours and hours and hours because I didn't understand it. I never felt a love like that before. And in that moment, the story hit me. And it hit me hard. It hit me from beginning to end. No changes, no anything. I knew exactly what the story was in that moment. And I started writing it right then. All the way home from South Carolina, I was writing it. And I'm a screenplay writer, so I was writing it into a screenplay at first. And then something about 40 pages in or so, something kept telling me to change it into a novel. And I never wrote a novel before. I have no idea what it is to write a novel, but I just started writing. And to be honest with you, I don't really remember writing most of it, um, which is strange in its way. But it was just kind of like I blah, and it just like came out, And about 7, 8 months later, I had a finished novel.
Wow.
I gave it to my wife to read, and she cried a lot. And I was like, I don't know if I want to release this. I don't know if I should do this. I've never done this before. It's an area that is kind of scary to me to put your work out there a little bit, just like every human being. I think we all have those kind of moments where we're like, should I do this or should I not? And,
Absolutely.
after praying about it, because I had started to believe in Jesus, I had been depressed my whole life. I was born deaf. Um, and I was deaf until I was about 11 or 12. I had 13 operations to gain my hearing, permanent and semi permanent tubes. My tonsils and my adenoids were removed. Um, and then I was diagnosed with bipolar and manic depression. Well, manic depression first. They didn't know what bipolar was when I was that young, but manic depression when I was 10. My parents didn't
Wow.
really understand why I was like trying to kill myself all the time, and this was I had numerous attempts at killing myself in different ways, any way I could really think of, and I didn't understand it either. I didn't see why I was constantly doing that. I felt like I was being pushed to do it,
Yeah.
as best as I can recollect, to that memory, feeling like that back then. But either way, so the story was put into my head then, and I wrote it, and she read it. She said, "This needs to be out there. It's going to help somebody." And when she said that to me, I felt like maybe that was him telling me, like, "Yeah, just put it out there, because you will help someone with it." And
Absolutely.
so that was kind of sort of the point of the first of the Endless Fall, anyways. And it's helped a lot of people, and I'm humbled by it, to get people messaging me that I've never met, and saying, "Hey, this book, I was really down, and this book really helped me out, and it was very relatable to my life and how I grew up, and it's always nice to connect to people like that, and I feel like that was my purpose, maybe that, that he had
Absolutely.
given me purpose, I think, and that purpose was to write these books, help people. If I can turn around and help people at any moment, then I should. Even if they don't help me back, even if people end up becoming jealous or those normal kind of human emotions, I still got to try. I still got to help. And that's the purpose I was given, I think. And so that's why I
Absolutely.
wrote it. And now it is what it is now. It does have a producer and some financiers attached to it, and it is being pushed through at the moment. And that's a whole bag of tricks there that you have to get through, right? So you have to pitch, and you have to talk to producers, and you have to get a director, which luckily, thank God, I've landed. And
Congratulations.
yes, thank you so much. And I wrote the script myself, put the script in, and it was received very well. So that's moving forward. We're looking for next fall to start shooting it. Um,
Wow.
and I also have a horror anthology that's being finished. It's actually finished now. I just finished the last episode for it today, and my director partner, who is an award-winning director, he's worked for CNN, he's worked for Netflix, he's worked for Discovery. That's where he started. He's shooting the show. We both wrote it, and that starts filming this summer. So a lot of things have come out from just writing the one book, and the most that's
Yes.
come out of it is I'm able to speak to people. I'm able to speak to youth groups. I'm able to speak on the radio, TV, podcasts, and try to kind of sort of pull people away from the ledge a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's the purpose he gave me, and I'm here for it. Before I was very much against him. Now I'm grateful for every moment that I have, and I think that's what I was missing. I think I was missing the whole, you don't live in another place. You're not living in a war torn area. You live in America. You've been given these things that you can freely do. And I just, and my childhood life was rough too. There's a lot of fighting going on, and just
Yeah.
internal family dynamics that were kind of constricting and conflicting to each other. So there was always some, arguments going on. And I think me being deaf and born with colic and manic depression and stuff like that, and on medication since I was like 11 years old, I think that, probably
Yeah.
didn't help. And I felt like a burden a lot. Um,
Understood.
but ever since that day on that balcony, my life has been completely different. I mean, it has changed 100%. and
I love
I
that.
can't be any more grateful for it. So I thank him every day. He's a very big reason why I got the motivation to do it. He's the reason why I changed my life around. He's the reason why I don't swear anymore. He's the
Yeah.
reason why my life has become positive instead of a bunch of negativity and just. I mean, I used to sit in my room for hours with lights off,
Yeah.
and that's all I would do, and just cry profusely. And on that trip, I cried all the time. Every day I was on that trip. We were gone for like a whole week, and my family's looking at me and they're wondering why, why are you crying so much? What's going on? And I'm trying to explain to them what's going on with me. And my wife looks at me and she says,
Can't put words.
Jesus saved you. That's what happened. Jesus saved you. You asked him and he saved you. And so ever since then, it's been like kind of an uphill roller coaster. And I'm so super grateful to be able to help people, really.
Well, I am in absolute awe. You give new meaning to turning pain into purpose. That is for sure. I'm also super grateful for your ability to be so vulnerable. You've carried a lot in forms of loss, some visible, some not. All you're very well at speaking about, but there are a lot of invisible things. When we talk about depression and things like that, it causes wounds that others can't necessarily see as easily as actual visible scars. So, you're very, very eloquent at the way you explain them to people. And I'm sure that with all the different parts and pieces, there are so many things that people can resonate with you over with your story and the impact that you're making with not only a book but also a screen adaptation of it. I mean, the ripple effect is going to be profound. So,
Yeah, I
kudos
hope
and
so.
bravo to you.
Thank you. I hope it helps somebody. I mean, when I wrote it, I did have my daughter in mind. That's why the character is kind of sort of based off of her. I wanted her to have something that if I decided that I had had enough, that she would be able to open it and know that I was struggling. Yeah. Sorry. It gets kind of emotional sometimes when I think about it, but yeah.
That is the space for this. We hold space for pauses because the things that you have been through, they're heavy and they need a minute, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. And when I get myself in those places, I just I remind myself of that balcony. I
Yeah,
remind myself of where I was and where I've come to, you know. And
absolutely.
anybody can do that. Anybody can decide it's time to stop living the same way you were living. And for me that was Jesus. For me, Jesus is what helped. For other people it could be other
Cool.
things, I would imagine. This as long as it's not negative and it doesn't destroy your life. If it's something
Absolutely.
positive and you can help someone, then you're doing the right thing. I mean, because we're social creatures, and I believe that we're here to help people more than we are to hurt people. Because nobody wants to be hurt. It hurts to be hurt. So why do
Agreed.
that?
Agreed.
Yeah, yeah,
I think that's what's so good about writing and putting books out there. And maybe you can speak to this, but people who are afraid of sharing their story, of being vulnerable. I know myself, I was when I wrote mine. You've shared that you were, but we really are social creatures and we're looking for that connection with people. So, can you kind of describe a little bit about what you did to push past that vulnerability? Was there any parts of your old self that you had to let go of to say, I have to put this out there to help people?
yeah. I had to let go of a lot of myself in order. I had to become somebody that was one, happy with who I was becoming, and someone two that put value into themselves and wasn't a burden anymore. That whole I'm less than everybody else kind of thing. And that's hard, because the world that we live in, it makes it very easy for us to be upset with ourselves, you know. And I say it's a lot easier to be upset with yourself than it is other people. Kind of, I guess.
Yeah.
It depends, but
Yeah.
we are our own worst enemy. We
Yes.
put ourselves down constantly. So to those people, I would say, stop, stop putting yourself down. You know, Understand that what you have may help someone, and if it will, then it should be out. I mean, if you're
Absolutely.
writing hateful things that aren't going to help people, maybe keep it to yourself. you know but
Agree.
if you're going to write things that is going to bring a teenager out of that depression, even if it's for a moment, you're still helping them change the way they are perceiving things for that moment. And that's enough. That should be enough for
Yes.
you, right? I don't do it for money because you don't make much off of books.
No.
I don't do it for clout. I don't do it to have people say, "Oh, look at him. He's, becoming famous," or whatever it is, and all this. I could care less. Am I reaching people? Am I making somebody take a moment out of their depression to see their value? Well, then okay.
Yes.
Then that's what I'm here for. And as far as other writers, don't be afraid. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. You're making yourself afraid. Just release it.
Absolutely.
Then order your copy and put it on your shelf. Read it every now and then. See what you did, you know? And I'll be honest, since I released it and then I finished the screenplay, I haven't gone back to it. And the reason why I haven't gone back to it is I think that it helped me. I realized that by the end of the book, I was really writing it for myself. I was really writing it to help me stay out of the dark, you
Yeah.
know. So,
That's such a sincere place to write from, don't you think?
yeah.
When you're
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
writing a letter to yourself is just such a, it helps break some of those limiting beliefs we have about ourselves. So not only are we doing it to help other people and change the trajectory of their lives, we're changing simultaneously changing the trajectory of ours.
Right. And if you can change your own energy, if you can change the way you perceive things and your thought process about things, like instead of getting mad at something, understand why you're getting upset about it.
Yeah.
Is it really that important? Because if it
Is it
is,
gonna matter? Yeah.
if it's that important, then feel free to waste your time on it. But if it's not, then spend your time doing something else, preferably
Absolutely.
something more positive, you know.
Yeah. A
And over
positive
time,
catalyst.
you'll get used to that. Over time, you'll have no choice but to get used to it, and you're gonna fall. I mean, that's why it's called the endless fall. You're gonna fall. You're gonna keep falling. Are you gonna pick yourself up? Are you going to rely on something bigger than yourself, perhaps, to get you going, to carry you when you can't walk? I mean, everybody needs help sometimes. It's just a matter
Absolutely.
of admitting when, you know?
Yes. Admitting when and being open to how, I think is
Yeah.
a big part. I
Yes.
know for me that was a big part of I don't ask for help. It's not in my DNA to do that. I was not raised to ask for help. Asking for help
Right.
was a weakness.
Yeah.
So learning how to accept that help, I think is, and I think that's another thing with sharing our stories, whether you're a writer, whether you're a blogger, if you have a movie, however you do it, if you're a speaker, when we share our stories, it's almost like we're handing out a permission slip to other people who have never had one before. And
Mm.
they're able to kind of take that step back and be like, okay, someone else was brave. They went through this. Now I can do the same thing and ask for help. So I look at our books like permission slips.
Yeah. And that's a great way to look at it too. I mean, if somebody can pick up the book and say, I feel better today than I did yesterday. Or, not even pick up the book. I don't care. Just feel better. Just look at
Yes,
yourself in the mirror and tell yourself how much value you have, because you do. Everybody has value. Everybody has talent. Everybody has
absolutely.
depression.
Yes,
How are you going to get through it? Because you are no different than me in that. No, neither is any other person in the world. Everybody suffers through depression at one or two or many times in their life. Some are born with it, some have chemical imbalances, some are like that because of their circumstances.
yeah,
But,
situational, absolutely.
right, right. But because of those things, your circumstance will change. It always does, right? Your perspective
Yes,
could change if you let it. And you could have value if you allow yourself to see it. So just
Absolutely. I
keep
love where
pushing.
you said that, that your perspective can change, dot, 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 if you let it. That's the
Yeah,
key
you
part.
have to let it. You have to train it too. You have to
Absolutely.
be accepting of the perspective you are now having, because your perspective was so negative for so long. In order to change that perspective, you have to stay positive for a right amount of time so that your brain can get used to it, so your body can get used to, I have value. I'm not nobody.
Absolutely.
I'm not one person in billions of people in the world. I'm one person out of billions of people in the world. It depends on how you look at it.
Yes. And it wholeheartedly fits into the theme of it's how you rewrite your own perspective, how you
Yes.
rewrite your own narrative. You don't have to stay stuck in it. And I know when I asked about, rebuilding the truth and what does a rewrite look like in practice, you shared something in the application where you said trust, faith, and hard work.
Hmm.
So just on those principles on a day where it looks really difficult, days where it's not easy, because let's be real, some days look perfect and all peaches, and some days
That's
don't.
right.
What
Yeah.
do you lean on the most when you're kind of rewriting that perspective for yourself?
All right. Well, a perfect example. Yesterday was a rough day. And the reason why is because I had two screenplays for episodes that had to be finished. I have a table read on Friday, so they had to be done. And I also am working on a screenplay for a friend's book. Uh, and then that has to be turned in Friday as well. And also my new book that's coming out in June. So I have like all this
Congratulations.
stuff that is, yes, thank you. So I have like all of this stuff that's going on, and I kind of do it to myself. Um, but when I get frustrated, music is a big help. But the biggest help I think is to take myself away from it, to shut the Mac and get up and go out and see my family, to go and spend time with my daughter, to spend time with my sons, and to see my wife. Those kind of things. And then, to go see my father. Um, Unfortunately, my mother passed almost a year ago. So
So sorry.
that hasn't, I haven't been able to, yeah. But either way, you have to be happy with the things that you have, the time that you had with people. So it's hard for me to look at that situation with my mother anyways and be upset about it, because I know where she is. I know she's okay, she's not suffering anymore. And but when I get really kind of sort of overwhelmed by work, I walk away from it, because it's not worth all that, right? If it's becoming something that is like, oh, I don't want to do this, but I have to do it,
Yeah,
walk away from it. Give yourself time.
absolutely.
Go do something. Even if it go outside and listen to the birds chirp for a little bit. It'll
Just
change
to
your
make,
whole it'll
yeah.
change your perspective. It'll stop making you feel like, oh, I gotta get this done. Oh, da 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 da. Even though you have to, you still have to have time for yourself. You have to take moments to yourself or you will go nuts. You know.
Yes. Balance.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I do. I usually just leave my stuff and I'll go see my family, or I'll call up somebody that I haven't talked to in a long time, because I do that a lot. I'll message random people, some people I've never met. You know, yeah, I do it a lot actually. I message people I've never met, people on my friends list that have, that I've never talked to in my life. Like I'll message them and see how they are, see how their family is, things like that.
Wow.
You take yourself out of those things and you do something else for just a couple of moments. It'll help you to get back on track and maybe not seem like it's such a big, I don't want to say the word burden again, but like such a big undertaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I love writing. I love doing the screenplays. I love being, part of the whole production and everything else that's going on with everything else that I'm doing. I love it, but it is
Yeah.
stressful. You have to
Absolutely.
give yourself time for yourself.
Well, and I love that sometimes you reach out to people that you don't know. I fully believe that there are angels that are put on our path, and it's whatever you believe in, a universal synchronicity, Jesus,
Right.
angels. There's some
Mhm.
higher power, I believe, that at times when we need them, people show up. even if they're strangers. They show up with some sort of a message that we need. And you could be that person for someone when you're having a tough day. You reach out to somebody and just spark a conversation, and you have no idea you could be that catalyst for them that day. So
Yeah,
that's incredible.
I try to do that. That's why, like, with the voting thing, I try to vote for other people, not
Yeah.
myself. I voted for myself the first day, and I said, yesterday I voted for myself. Today I'm voting for Daniel Letta. Tomorrow I'm voting for, then the day after I'm voting for, because it's not, I really want people to get their stuff out there in this people's artist competition, right?
Yeah,
Sorry to throw
absolutely.
everybody onto this real quick. Nobody knew what we were talking about, but now, just, okay.
We got to let them in on
Uh,
the little secret we were
yeah,
talking
yeah, we'll
about.
just, yeah, okay. So, yeah, and that's like the whole point of it. I like to help people. I like to bring the positivity up, to see,
Yeah.
like when I see somebody and they have put out a post on Facebook and it's something they're excited about, but nobody's liked it, nobody
Yeah.
shared it, nobody's commented. I'll find those posts and I'll find value in it, and
Yeah.
I'll like it, I'll leave a comment, and I'll share it
Oh,
because
I
it's
love that.
important. We have to support each other here. There's so many
Yeah.
people that are against helping people now that it's far and few in between. And if I'm put in the position to help people, then I'm gonna do that because I feel
Yeah.
like that's what he saved me for. He saved me to help
I
people.
love that.
So yeah,
That's
that's my purpose
incredible.
now.
That's incredible. And to our listeners who are wondering what voting that Peter's talking about, he was recently nominated for People Artist of the Year. So before we wrap up, I'll have him share all of his contact information and how we can vote for him. But that is what he is sharing. And I just absolutely could not agree more. I think you are so deserving of that award because
Thank you.
it's true. And this, yeah, of course, in this space, this creative space, whether you're a content creator, whether you're a writer, a singer, a songwriter, screenwriter, in a creative space, sometimes it is so hard to be noticed, to get traction, to feel like your story, whether you're writing it, singing it, doesn't matter, really matters. And it
Hmm.
does. And
Right.
that's where your book and this space and my book and my other guests, we want to bring awareness to your story does matter. You
Hmm.
matter.
Oh, of
That is
course.
the important message here.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I like to raise other people up. I want to see other people up there above me, not
Yeah.
with me. I'd like to, it'd be cool. I do some things with people, cool. But if I can shoot you up, if I can throw you up there into the stratosphere and you become super successful, then I've done what I was supposed to do. I'm not trying to make myself famous or super successful in those ways. I'm definitely trying to pull everybody I can to get them somewhere that they're not right now. And a lot of that
That
has
is
to
so
do with
true.
positive thinking. A lot of it has to do with faith, and a lot of it has to do with taking yourself out of yourself and not becoming that grubby, like, I need the votes. I need
Yeah.
people to like my stuff. I need to sell books, or I need to get this greenlit, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Uh, when you focus on helping other people, things seem to fall into your lap,
I could
and
not
then you
agree
can help
more.
people. And then you can help people with it. You can choose, oh, I'm going to keep this to myself and I'm going to make myself be somewhere, or you can choose to help other people with it and eventually get to maybe where you want to be, right? I'd rather do that
Agreed.
one. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, as we wrap up, I want you to leave our listeners with one thing. So, if there's one thing that you wish someone could have said to you in your darkest moment so that you could rewrite the trajectory of your life, what would it be?
Um, I wish that myself could look at myself like a younger version or an older version of myself, speak to the younger version of me and tell me that eventually everything would be okay.
Mhm.
Eventually, I will stop being upset. Eventually, I will help someone. And that is what matters. What I
Incredible.
go through or what I went through is all a way for me to turn around and help people, or it's a way for me to turn around and hate people. I choose to love. That's what I'm going to do. And
I love
yeah,
that.
that's what I would say, I think.
Awesome. Thank you. And I will tell the listeners that is not scripted. I do not tell my guests that I'm going to ask that question. I
This is a
want to
good
hear
question.
the
I'll be
response.
honest. This is a great question. I like how
And the
like
gut
when
responses are
certain
the best.
podcasts they don't even get that deep into stuff. Some podcasts are just like, all right, well, tell me about your book, and then I just talk for like 10 minutes. But your
No.
podcast is not like that. I like your questions. It was very inviting. Whoever's thinking about being on the show, yes, go for it because you're super cool. Actually, you're down to earth. I like that. So
Well, thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you. We need to tell my child I'm super cool because he won't believe you.
Oh, please. How old is
I
he?
try. 14.
Oh, well, he's 14. That's him being normal. You know.
Absolutely. It is. If
You
he thought
know.
I was cool, I wouldn't be doing my job right. So
Right,
I feel like it's
exactly.
an
That's
honor.
right. That's right. And another thing, when the crap hits the fan,
Yeah.
you're the first one he's going to go to. You know
Yes.
that, right?
Yes.
So
We have had a few instances that it has, and he has come to me. So I feel like I got to be doing
yeah,
something right.
you are doing absolutely everything right. And as a teenager, he's got to wear that on his sleeve. Like I don't need my mom like that. That was my mom. I
Yes,
don't. But really, he does, and
he
he loves you
does.
very much. I can tell. Keep
Thank
that
you.
with you. Yeah, that's all you got to
Thank
do.
you
I
for
mean,
that
you're doing a
message.
great, fantastic job. I mean, it's okay for your teenagers to be upset with you for nothing most of the time.
Yes.
You just have to
Yes.
realize that if they didn't care about you, they wouldn't be upset with you. Those emotions are so close to each other.
Absolutely.
You know.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. I think the louder we are, the more we care, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I raise my voice around my kids, they know business is happening. They're like, okay,
Yes.
I think I've made dad a little upset, and maybe I shouldn't do that anymore. But
Might
it's
have poked
always
at that
love.
boundary just a little bit.
Yeah. And ever since this happened, I became like docile. I haven't had the depression or anything since that moment. I haven't felt what it's like to
Congratulations.
sit in the dark or to hate myself or anything. It's been nothing but love, peace, and joy and gratefulness, honestly, from that moment. And it's been a little over a year now. So he helped me an
I
awful lot.
That is incredible. I love that. I hope that your message has given our listeners a little bit of that hope as well. And that they, one day will have an older version of themselves to come back and say, it'll all be worth it. It'll all be okay.
I
So
hope so. Yeah.
thank you for your message. And before we let everybody go, can you tell us where we can find you, keep up with updates about your upcoming book, your current book? So share away.
Okay. So you can find my book, The Endless Fall, which is right here, uh, on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It's also inside Barnes and Noble. And you can find my second book, Abused, which is also Barnes and Noble Abused, or Amazon, and my third one called Home, which is also Barnes and Noble exclusive, though that one's Barnes and Noble exclusive. My next one is called This Is How It Will End. That is coming out June 10th, and that is another Barnes and Noble exclusive. You can find it on Barnes and Noble or in Barnes and Noble. You can find me on Instagram at Peter Colter. You can find me on Facebook. I have two accounts, Peter Colter and Peter A. Colter. Um, if you're looking to do anything or you need help with anything to talk about anything, I'm an open book. I will be more than happy to talk to you. Please go ahead and shoot me a message. My email is petercoulter@icloud.com. If you want to get a hold of me for any business inquiries or filming or screenwriting, that would be my agent at serenitystone.agent@gmail.com. And everybody, I just want to leave you with one message. You are important. You do matter. Reach up. Keep living.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And all of the details will be in the show notes. Thank you all for listening and happy rewriting.